Hello, GBA fans, and welcome to the week 8 Around the Rhyhorn, I believe. Week 8?
Oh, my Lanta, really?
Week 7? Week 8?
8.
8. Week 8. Week 8 Around the Rhyhorn, and this time around, I'm your host, BulkyCottonCandy, and we have my co-host.
Hello, one and all. I am wiped out one.
And then we have our very special guest analyst, Berk.
Sup?
And last but not least, we have SuperBlah, our guest coach, aka Nick.
Sup, guys?
And
Don't do
this
her intro.
week,
Correction, we are week 7 around the right
we are week 7. Mabi, take 2.
My bad.
Hello,
Go,
GBA
go.
fans, and welcome to
No,
week
stop
number
that, stop that,
7 of
roll with it.
Around the Rhyhorn.
Roll with it.
Alright, first
Week
rule
7.
of YouTube, you don't do a second take.
Oh, week 7.
It was a
Here we go.
joke. It was a
Welcome to
joke
Around
for
the
the
Rhyhorn.
editing. My goodness, calm down.
I was gonna say, because, like, there's a rule for YouTube, less effort, more views, so...
Quell the calamity
it's true.
and all your memories.
Okay, anyways, this week we are talking about change, and that's like pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters, all that type of stuff. So, for our first topic is, what is your favorite penny? My favorite penny is personally the penny from 1987. I really like the texture on that penny.
I gotta go old school. The 1963 penny was just mint, in my opinion.
There's a penny in my, on, like, my front steps inside the cement that is, facing upwards, and it has the date of the year that my house was built, and that's the only way I can ever remember that I have to run outside and check the penny.
Not even bad.
It's like a cornerstone, but it's a penny. It's pretty good.
I don't have a favorite penny.
Wow, okay,
I'm
you just
sorry.
ruined the entire thing. Alright, no, okay, okay, let's
Oh,
stop
no,
messing
no,
around,
no,
let's
no,
stop messing
okay.
around, let's stop messing around.
Burke, yes.
So we are actually talking about change this week, and what we mean by that is we're not gonna have any sort of like debatable topic or lightning round this week. We're just gonna have 3 main topics, and our 3 main topics. The first one is going to be tier changes. So, Nick, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with what you think of the tier changes that happened for season 6?
My favorite tier change for season 6, and I'll have you know that I am currently looking up the tier changes for season 6. But I do know one offhand, and that is my friend, the Pokemon that moved down. Chansey moved down to tier 2, I believe. Right?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, because they realized that Chansey and Blissey should be the same tier, because Chansey's a pile of hot garbage and not tier 1. Other than that, like, super good wall breakers, and not even wall breakers, just things that generally don't have switches, like Emboar and Regalgy moved up from tier 4, which is something that was super, super important. And also Garchomp, which was tier 2 that Fizz had last year, the Atlanta Hawlucha, and I accused him of cheating like 7 times. I was like, wait, bro, you have like 5 tier 1s. He's like, nah, Garchomp's tier 2. I was like, that's wrong. I just, like, I almost preferred that he were cheating, because he had a Garchomp for tier 2 price. I was like, that's not fair.
But it's
Yeah.
Garchomp, and it is amazing.
It's pretty true.
So yes, it belongs back in tier 1.
It is in tier 1.
Yes, it belongs back there, and it is back, and that is a good thing, because
should
tier
speak in
2
the
is
past
just too much of a
tense.
steal.
Yeah. And, like, those are pretty much the big ones. Like, Entei moved up. That was kind of important. I tried to get Terrakion to move down to tier 2, because Terrakion's also hot garbage. And, like, that's pretty much it. There was a bunch of stuff. There was like 60 mons or something that changed tier last year, and you guys mean there were 46. That's close to 60.
Yeah,
It
closer to
can
60
round
than-
up to 60 somewhat.
Yeah, yeah.
Carry the 1, you know.
Yeah, true.
No,
Whoa!
but oh,
I think I just. Oh, maybe that one just didn't get passed. Because, like, somebody's like Granbull should be higher than tier 5, and then somebody made the argument that it should be tier 5 just based on the fact that there should be something worth dropping in tier 5, which I think is the worst argument ever. But Granbull's really not that good anyway, so I couldn't really this.
I mean, I know there were a lot of tier. there were a lot of tier changes that almost happened but didn't quite. They might have just missed the vote. Like Lando I know just barely missed the chopping block to get banned.
And guess who regrets it? Everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Except for Lars.
Except for Cooper.
Well,
I know MB regrets it, but he wasn't here for the vote, so like, that's just...
And you know Lars, as soon as the vote came down that it's not going to get banned, nope, he franchise tagged that thing.
It was no brainer. You could theoretically get away with like paying double the price for Lander side because it's that good.
You'd have to wonder about Lars if he decided not to franchise it.
Yeah.
It's like, what else would he have franchised? Azu? No thanks. No, Lando was easily the best. But some of the other tier changes, like, I don't know, like you mentioned Entei, moving up from tier 3 to tier 2. And I know Gio decided to franchise it this season. Like, that kind of mucked with his points a little bit. I mean, it would have only cost him 20.
Gio is a boob.
Booby.
With a capital W for wiener.
Dang. Okay.
Nick is jelly.
I'm not jelly. Tough is jelly. He's got...
Schmuckers.
You just
Nah.
talk
I
complete
just
trash
I
about everyone
think
in the
that.
league.
Oh, everybody, even me. I talk trash about myself more than anybody else.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Like, what was I? Horrible. Like, but I went to draft that. I was like, I'm gonna get that.
Yes.
I should be kicked out of the league just based on that alone.
No. Keep you.
No,
you know what?
The
I
thing
like?
about go.
Mega Absol leads the Giante's team in kills. Yet it only played one game.
That's actually hilarious. Well, the thing is, all right. I think Gio made a pretty good team. Obviously, he has a lot of threats, and he just made a big trade, which I guess we could talk about who's officially canon, where he just got rid of Manatee, which he needed because his team was rather slow. Although I don't really agree with it for team synergy point purposes. Yes, purposes. But then again, I'm also a loser, and I'm gonna not even make the playoffs, so like it doesn't matter. But what I forgot what I was going to say. Like he paid basically tier 1 price for Entei. If I don't know the math, is it what is tier 2 120 and it's 40 for things, so 160. So almost tier 1 price for Entei when he could have probably just drafted Entei.
Yeah.
Like Entei wasn't gonna go in like round 1 or round 2.
Or Arcanine, which is better.
Hello?
You should come.
Leave. Go.
Yeah.
Just leave.
De-stress your breast. Just
Yeah.
Arcanine's better, I'm just saying.
You know what Arcanine is? You know what my nickname for Arcanine is in Alpha Sapphire?
Go.
Shidente.
Oh, wow. You know Arcanine is the only legendary Pokemon that has to worry about child support? How fair is that?
It is the only legendary Pokemon that is not really legendary.
It's true.
Is Arcanine a good Pokemon?
Undercover Legendary.
Wrong.
Favorite number is 59.
Shout out to Crimson Sea, that former coach.
Yes.
He's a former coach of the league, and
Speaking
changes.
of, let's move on to our second topic, which is coach changes.
segue.
The segue. So speaking of former coaches, how do you guys feel about the coaches that have come and gone? Because you guys have both been here for a while. So how do you guys feel about the coaches that have come and gone through the league, and just if it's improved the league, made it a little bit worse, made it a little bit more challenging? Just how do you feel about the coach changes, even if it's like how they are as a person, not as a coach?
Oh, we get to hate on people for their actual who they are.
Can I just say that we thought it was going to be good with Steve leaving and then getting Battler X. Yeah, he's supposed to be good. It
Okay,
didn't.
all right.
hasn't
You don't know
changed.
anything about Battle.
It hasn't changed.
All right, Battler X. No. Listen, it's not his fault, guys.
No,
Like, You
Battler
come
X-
into a major media market like Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Like there are dozens and dozens. Think about watching his game. Stand up the pressure.
Dozens and dozens of what?
of people, just people. They're just there. They watch him.
Listen, I think Steve could have hired a better coach.
Like, the budget's tight, man.
And I mean, the thing is, his name is Battler X. You expect him to be good at battles.
No, he's bad, so he hits the X. Like, that's why his name is Battler X. Come on.
I feel like there's going to be some internal turmoil in the Milwaukee Bucks before too long. I mean,
I feel,
Alright,
I
wait
feel,
till
like,
they
I
get
feel
a-
like eventually there's going to be a fight, and we should record that for Around the Rhyhorn.
There may or may not be a fight.
it's all conjecture at this point.
Overall,
Everyone
though,
didn't hear that from us.
I feel I have pros and cons about coach changes. I think, as far as league chemistry goes, I think this is probably one of the more comfortable leagues that we've had. Whereas, like, everyone's cool, everyone's just doing their thing and playing their games, and we have good competition and stuff. Like, quite literally, you don't really know who's going to win in any given week, just because you can just tell by the picking crew. You guys are wrong all the time, and it's hilarious. And,
I mean, we've been upset quite a few times because the matches that we think are locked, that we think are for sure going to
Which-
go one way. Surprise! No.
as an objective viewer from the outside who is in no way biased towards any one team, you can't predict. It's really hard to pick a lock in a game where skill is like 60% of the game. Like, you just can't, like.
I would beg to differ that it's 40% skill and 60% luck.
Here, let's pick on the Chicago Grand Bulls from like season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Going old school.
I mean, we're talking about
Like,
all the
Piper.
history.
Yeah, right? History changes. We'll take him, and we'll take one of the more dominant teams ever, which would be like, the Hawluchas last season were really good all season. There were a lot of good teams last season, weren't there? Crap.
Mhm.
Anyone, just pick like a really good team. Like Miguel last year, Dan last year were both really good. And you have them play the Grambles, who are terrible. Suck it, Kyle. It's like a coin flip.
You never really know who's gonna exactly win because
Like, you can say, oh, your matchup, whatever. Like, it makes predicting matches really hard. So,
cause
I
you have
think
to look
the
at
fact
not just
that-
the team but the coach as well.
right. I think it's so the fact that like people go like 500 or come out of the end of a pick'em season with like positive differential is pretty impressive.
Which I'm-
Because like it's not easy to do because it's like predicting the weather. It's just not. You can kind of do it, but at the end of the day, it's just like maybe we'll get lucky.
I just want to say, last season, the Pick'em crew, I was number 1 until I picked for the finals and then lost my number 1 spot. So it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Just not this season.
Also, I just want to make fun of the Grambles one more time. Kyle sucks. Suck it, Kyle. That's the only reason I came on here. He's never gonna watch it, but I'll tell him separately. Don't worry about it.
Just tell him.
So
You don't
yeah,
have to
coach
watch the video.
changes. Right, coach changes I think are really cool because they add different freshness to the league. You get different people, different play styles, different draft styles. You get rivalries that get formed, and more exposure for the league overall, of course, which is a good thing because the bigger the league gets, the more influence it'll have on the league format in general, or just the play style, not necessarily the GBA, but the concept of leagues. One of the downsides is the fact that so much coach turnover kind of took away the practicality of the contract system, which a lot of coaches really liked.
And what was that?
But it's where like in seasons 1, 2, 3, whenever you draft a Pokemon, you get it for 3 seasons, and then at the end of every season, a contract year would expire, and then they would go back into the pool whenever the contract is up. So the fact that we have so much coach turnover would mean that we would have new coaches taking over old teams that they didn't get to build, and it's not really fair for them to have to play with that because they didn't build it. And
Which is why
it
we
makes
had
draft-
the franchise tag in.
Right. It's kind of a middle ground, compromise, albeit inferior and lame. So yeah, That's my thoughts on coach changes.
I mean, Mono taking over Gub's team, he seems to have done pretty well with it, despite the fact he didn't draft it. So
well, that's a combination. Sorry for interrupting. It's a combination of Gub drafting really well and also Mono being a good player. Like, I think it was a good fit. Like, John took over a team, Pokemon took over a team in season 2, and he made it to the finals. The team was good to above average, but John's a good player, and he's proven every season that he's a really good league player. So he made it work. Like, sometimes you just get a good fit like that.
Yeah. So the whole contract system wouldn't be completely unviable. It's just that with the changes in the seasons from season to season, it's gotten to the point where having those long contracts just wouldn't work out as well. And I feel like each season drafting completely different teams is interesting, because as opposed to just seeing the same teams every season, it's part of what makes the draft format so good, is so diverse. Because some coaches, like Miguel this season, he didn't draft any Pokemon that he had used before in like last season. Whereas you've got like Nick, you picked up Skarmory again. So I feel like that. Well, yeah,
it's trash. Skarmory's terrible. Don't draft Skarmory. It's option number 2. It's plan B. Whereas like Tom, I think Tom drafted like only Pokemon he's ever used before. So there are definitely two different kinds of people that people that favor familiarity, and then people that are comfortable with lots of things and will branch out.
I think there are 2 types of people in this world: people who pee in the shower and people who lie about it.
I think that you revealed to us a lot about yourself with that statement, and we should probably change topics right now.
Wouldn't it just be like an overlapping group of people, though?
Exactly.
It's not actually 2 different. It's just one overlapping group of people.
They're like subgroups.
Yeah.
Like how like.
It's just not actually 2 different kinds of people. It's just.
Right. Like green apples and red apples. They're still apples.
That's exactly what I was getting at.
Right. But like green apples are sour, like peeing in the shower. Oh, it rhymed. I'm so good.
Hashtag bars. Yo. Around the Rhyhorn Rap Edition? Let's go.
Can my stage name be Barzard?
Barzard. Oh my god, no. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so just Berk, what are your thoughts on the coach changes?
I mean, I've been here for not as long as Nick, because Nick's old, so. But the coach changes, I think they definitely bring in new faces. It's always nice to get new people into the league, just to kind of freshen things up a bit, because people who've been here a while, since like season 1 or something, like Shady Penguin, you kind of get burnt out after a while of just being in the league format over and over and over again, even if you're drafting different teams. So it's nice to get in people who kind of spice up the competition. And so I always like seeing new coaching changes. And I know this season had like, 6 new coaches enter. So, well,
I think it was
4 new coaches and 2 return.
Oh, right.
And
there were. Oh, right. Mono's a guy too, right?
Yeah. Mono is a new coach. Yeah. Even though he didn't draft his team, so it always gives a better, competition every time you start changing up some of the competitors in it, because then, like after a while, you start to get used to how people plan and prep, and that can kind of, it can get a little stale about prepping for the same people. Like I know George and John know how each other prep very well, and so they are able to, tailor their prep to each other very well. Whereas if you're playing against somebody you don't know, it's more of an unknown on what they're going to do against your team. So I liked it.
Yeah, it's always fun to see new coaches come in, but it does kind of suck whenever, like last season, Hayden came in. He was a new coach, but he didn't stick around for season 6. So, I mean, it's nice to see new coaches, but it's nice to see them for more than just one season. So, like, part of me is hoping that the new coaches this season stick around for a bit, but on the same token, it's like we want to see new coaches, so that means somebody else has to leave, but we don't want that either. So who knows?
Just tell Nick.
It's kind of a lose-lose situation.
I'll leave if in the finals I like 6-0 somebody. I'll just ride off into the sunset.
But that's sweet into the finals.
I can easily make it to the finals.
Are you gonna make
I've done
playoffs?
it before. I will be the first team to make the finals without making the playoffs. I'm gonna miss the playoffs. The team is going to make the playoffs with the same record and differential, and they're gonna win out on the tiebreaker. And then that team is gonna be some way unable to play, and then I'm gonna get the last playoff slot by default.
And then you just
So
go.
by
The
and then by
wild
not
card
making the playoff, right? Yeah, I'll be like the wild card. Be crazy.
The wild card of the wild cards.
The wildest of wild cards.
I think Nick is gonna start like taking out coaches one by one until he's just the only one physically left to compete.
Protect your kneecaps, guys.
Just break their fingers. Break their fingers.
Like it's gonna be like me versus like me with a second DS in the finals.
I wonder who's gonna win.
Not me,
Well,
that's for sure. The
can make it
viewers,
obvious
the
playing.
fans will win.
Yes, because when Nick plays with himself, the fans win. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
You're welcome.
it's all about the finish, right? In the finals.
Fan service.
So, another topic I want to talk about is what type of changes do you want to see for Season 7?
I want to see a new Pokemon.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant introduction there with the new generation coming out. Spoiler alert. There's the Gen 7 to Pokemon.
I mean, hey,
But I
you know,
mean-
season
but I mean,
7,
do you
Gen
wanna
7,
see-
that'd be cool.
But I mean,
I was making that comment completely aside from the fact that I knew that there was going to be a new generation of Pokemon. You don't know that.
Well, you're not very astute.
But I mean, do you want to see every fully evolved Pokemon from that generation tiered? And how do you expect those to be tiered?
Oh, it's gonna be
the-
just completely like how do I phrase this? A clusterfuck?
Clusterfuck.
That's much better.
PG.
I'm sorry.
Either way works.
Are we just gonna tier them by like how they're rated in Smogon? Because honestly, the way the tiering system here works against Smogon is very, very different.
I mean, if we're talking about how it's gonna work, I think it's gonna
I
be-
can tell you as a fact that it'll have nothing to do with what Smogon thinks. Because we so far don't go off of what Smogon thinks, except for like standard rules, which are just, more so obvious than, their devices.
One of those like universally.
Yeah,
accepted.
like sleep clause. It's a
Yeah.
thing in like if you play Pokemon Battle Revolution, there's a sleep clause option. In Pokemon Stadium, there's a sleep clause option. It makes sense, Whereas like when it comes to tiering, that's more in-depth specific metagame determining things. Like we allow Lando I because you can prepare for Lando I. A standard team can't prepare for Lando I without dedicating a team slot and then making itself weaker to other teams on the ladder. But where you only have to face one team per week, you can make specializations.
I think for the first season, I mean, like when we look at the GBA, like season 4, it was, heavily influenced by Smogon tiers. But then after a season, like it all changes because then you realize, oh, this is actually a good league format and this isn't. So I think it's going to be heavily influenced by Smogon for the first season it's out, and then after that, all the tiers are going to change for the new Pokemon. Just because then you realize,
Oh, this is really good in OU, but it's terrible in the format.
yeah, like we highlight like Bisharp. Bisharp's good in OU, but it's
It's
hot
not
garbage.
as good.
No, it's hot garbage. So
That's straight rubbish.
I think it's gonna that will definitely spice up things because I don't know how many they're gonna add, but if you're thinking like 40 to 50 new fully evolved Pokemon, plus some pseudo legendaries and some not great legendaries,
Yeah, I was
that's
about
gonna
to
really
say,
change up tiers.
Yeah, we're gonna see
Also
Solgaleo.
new megas and stuff.
New
Yeah.
megas if
too.
they don't
Or
freaking
possibly
change
no
that.
megas.
Because
I
people have
don't
been
think-
talking about they're not gonna have mega evolutions. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like they've
Yeah,
had it for
No,
one.
they're totally
They've
gonna
had it for
have
one
it.
generation. They're not just gonna take it away.
I mean, they've still very mum about mega evolutions for right now.
Well, it's also
But
June.
we'll see.
Hey, all you gotta do
Like,
is wait for
it-
July 1st. Which I think this comes out on
Anticipation.
July 1st. Yeah, it should.
What does?
This
Corpo?
episode. This episode.
Oh.
No, there's new
Okay.
Pokemon news on the
Oh.
1st.
Oh, okay.
Which is today, breaking the fourth wall. Right now.
So for those of you watching today, now July 1st,
Post a comment on your favorite new information of Sun and Moon below.
Exactly. Okay.
thank you.
But I think with that, we're just gonna wrap up the episode here. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button to the GBA channel if you haven't already. Post down in the comment section below what you think about the new Pokemon news that just came out. And we will see you guys next week for week 8 of Around the Rhyhorn. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye!
Bye.
Awesome.
See
Oh
ya.
yes.
Can I end this recording now? Thanks.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. We,
Normally I edit out background noise, but no.
I'm just gonna say, watch there actually be no Pokemon news that's relevant. It's gonna be about Pokemon Go.
No,
Right?
they totally-
Right, watch a video about Pokemon Go.
July
No,
is
that
definitely
was-
the time for that.
I'm
I mean,
hoping.
'cause
But I mean, the game comes out in November. There's still a lot of time. It's like, what, 4 months away? At that point?
Yeah.
3 months away?
I'm telling you, it's just gonna be about Pokemon Go.
No.